Hello, Lisa Richard here with Loving Energy Recharge. Welcome to the Inner Alchemy for February the 19th, leading us through to the 24th. Inner Alchemy is a blend of the teachings of human design, branching that off into the gene keys, and incorporating some tools as a more than existing Lightworker coach. We are following the turning of the mandala wheel and going through the 12 astrological signs, with today marking the very start of Pisces season. So Pisces is in the 12th house. It is the last of the signs before we hit that restart with Aries season. And our 12th house is all about getting into our subconscious and our unconscious. This is stimulating that solar plex within the teachings of human design, which is your emotional awareness center. And as Pisces is a water element and it does represent the fish, this is really stirring in our emotional awareness to get to the depth of our desires, our passions, our inner spirit, our expression. But we are also very young in our emotional awareness. There is 50% of humanity that has that solar plex, your emotional center, colored in your chart. And that means that you're here to project a wave, an emotional wave out into the world, and having to find your own place of neutrality within your emotional waves before making decisions. So you came in this soul's journey with a increased desire to find your stability within the ups and downs of life, and to not be so reactive, but to really teach yourself the patience, the opportunity to know within the body of you when you are at your neutral point, when decisions feel correct for you, and not allowing external energies to influence your truth. Now, for the rest of you who are the other 50% of humanity that has that solar plex, that emotional center, undefined in your chart, which means it appears as white, you take in and amplify the emotional energy of others at 200%. You came here to experience how emotions play out within the environment around you, how it affects the body, the nervous system, and to really hone in on your gift of discernment, which means knowing what belongs to you and what belongs to another. So you're here to really have a journey through this energy of Pisces season into the unconscious, the subconscious, the depths of that unseen world, to really experience for yourself how to be the calm within the storm, how to stabilize yourself when things do feel very turbulent. Now, that is a journey for each and every one of us. And we have been down in our emotional center since the beginning of February. This started for us as we were ending out Aquarius season. We were in the element of air, and all of a sudden we were dropped into our emotional center, that solar plex. It was pulling energy from the root center, from the pressures of the stress. And you may have been really feeling within your body a lot of overwhelm, a lot of turbulence, a lot of push to get out and do something, or a lot of pushback saying, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I don't have the energy to give anymore. And in all honesty, that is where I was. I chose to step out last week. I did not come in to do a video. We were in what was known as the emotional gateway of revolt, the strong no within the body. And it was putting a lot of pressure on us to feel the no's of the body, to push back against those things that do not resonate with our truth. And because it was getting a lot of stimulation from the pressures of stress, there was an opportunity to take a step back, to come into this self, to really feel out the power of the no's, the power of, that doesn't resonate with me, that doesn't feel correct for me. And to really sit in that self-awareness to allow for a new truth to surface. What was really coming forward for me in my own experience was all of this anticipation of the year of the fire horse, the coming energy. And there was a lot of propaganda going out that was all about, this is your time to get out there, to create momentum, to go for it, to make your dreams come true. It was this big push energy. Now, the fire horse is a strong energy. We are in a yang year, which means this is masculine energy. It is here to take action. What my body was experiencing in that was, well, how does that relate to my energy, to my sign, to my elements within the chart? So I took the step back to do a deep dive into my own astrological birth chart, combining it with my human design chart, combining it with my Chinese astrology chart, and really fine-tuning how this energy relates to the external energy, how my energy will interact with the energies coming in. So just like you were to approach a horse, if you approach a horse with too much force, with insecurity, with a lack of understanding, it is going to buck, it is going to panic, it is going to run away, right? You have to build a trusting relationship. Well, that trusting relationship starts with ourselves first, to know who we are, to know who we are energetically, to know our presence, our energy, what we bring into a space, and then to be aware of the energies coming in. So you learn to merge your energy with the incoming energies to make something more cohesive. Not every energy is compatible. There are some of you who are going to have a very challenging year energetically. It is designed that we have opportunities to go through challenges, coherence. Many things exist in the space to help us to learn and grow. So if your energy is really high in water elements, you might have some challenges with the incoming fire. And the way to look at that is it's not personal. Fire doesn't want to be put out by water. You might be the voice of logic. You might have a lot of common sense. You might not be ready to move as fast as the fire signs want to move. That is okay. Water draws us into the body. It draws us back into the womb. It offers us an opportunity for self-reflection, for stillness, for getting really in tune with your intuition. So maybe for you, this is your year of stepping back and being more of an observer in order to develop a strength within yourself, cultivating deeper faith within yourself. You might be a fire element coming into a fire year, and you might feel a lot of pressure. You might feel a lot of passion blooming for you. You might have all this drive to get out there and do something. But again, if you are inexperienced in riding the horse, and if you have no idea where you're headed and you're not prepared for the journey, you're going to be going nowhere fast, right? So we have all of this opportunity to really get clear with ourselves. Coming into Pisces season, utilizing the house of our subconscious, our unconscious, taking the time to be more mindful of, well, what is stirring in the emotional waters of you? What is your desires? What is your passions? How are you reacting to the energy around you? Are you trying to make a decision because you're high up on a wave and everything looks great and you want to go for it? Well, what happens when that wave comes down, when your energy is no longer there? Are you still going to have the momentum to keep going? Are you still going to feel like that was a good choice for you? So the grace in this awareness is teaching us that just because the energy here is masculine in nature, is a year of let's go for it, let's stimulate change, it is so important to know, who are you in relationship to this incoming change? Does this change feel correct for you? Is there more to observe within this proposed change? So this is a time of really tapping into your intuition, riding through the storms in life by standing in your own foundation, knowing that you are here to throw yourself a lifesaver. You're not waiting for someone else to rescue you. It becomes the awareness of being so tired of struggling, being tired of all the pressures of life, being tired of trying to perform, trying to catch up, trying to do so much more. When you get to that state of being tired, that is an opportunity to come into stillness. And it's in the stillness that a greater awareness comes in, when we recognize that what is pulling us away from our happiness, from our abundance, from our success is ourself, our belief in ourself, our motivation of ourself, our distractions of ourself, our tendencies to get caught up in the dramas that are not ours to get caught up in. So your struggles, your periods of feeling exhausted, of feeling scattered, of feeling like you're all over the place, this is an act of grace. It is an act of grace to help you ride through this energy, to use the time of Pisces season not as a launching pad, but as a deeper discovery into the legacy that you are leaving behind. It is like dropping a rock into the water and the ripples go out. Well, every time we speak, every time we have action, every time we have a body language, so there's an expression on our face, right? We're projecting something out into our environment. And a lot of times we are unaware of how that affects others. Now, we're not responsible for how another reacts, but we are responsible for getting to know ourselves and for consciously choosing how we show up. So emotional energy is not bad. Emotional energies help the spirit inside to really express itself. So you might be feeling some really high highs right now, some acts of silliness, wanting to just laugh, invite in the humor. You might just be feeling larger than life. Now, you're also probably going to experience times where you're feeling very down in the dumps, very melancholy. And there's times where, you do need to step back to nurture yourself. And that is kind of putting up the do not disturb sign for the external world. And when you're feeling those lower energies, you're really feeling for yourself. It's not to get lost in the victim. It is to turn to things like music to help you process through whatever this wave is that you are experiencing, and to allow all of that suppressed energy to start to circulate so that it can leave you in order to invite in more clarity to rise. So the image that they're showing me for that is if you were to take a snow globe and shake it all the way up, well, you've got to allow then for some stillness to let things settle. So it's no different than our emotions right now. There is a lot of things being shaken up in the world, shaken up in our lives, within our bodies, within what is happening at a global level. There is a lot of confusion right now. Your nervous system might be in overdrive right now. This is the time for not allowing the mind to figure it out, but allowing things to calm down within yourself and processing through what is of your truth to then allow the greater picture, the greater vision, the greater purpose to be revealed. So this might be a time for you where extra rest is needed, extra time out in nature, doing some grounding exercises is needed, drinking lots of water, practicing some somatic exercises, some yoga exercises, things that help you to move through the body, maybe starting that meditation practice, inviting in calm, inviting in stillness, reminding yourself you do not have to go right now. You do not have to be anything right now. You do not need to put pressure on yourself right now. So grace starts with you. When you allow yourself to take a step inwards, it's not taking a step backwards, it's taking a step inwards. You will feel your truth. You will awaken yourself into a new sense of freedom. You will become more aware of what has been holding you back in terms of your own habits, your own behaviors, what you have accepted, what you have allowed. And it's not to blame or shame or guilt yourself or anyone else. It is literally to be able to see what has transpired in order to then choose a new path for yourself. So this is some powerful, powerful energies. We are on a global scale going through massive changes, going in a direction that we've never been to before. So this isn't a race to be the first. It is like the tortoise and the hare story, where the tortoise is going at its own pace. It is stopping to enjoy the journey, to smell the flowers, to feel the wind, to move inwards into its shell when it needs to take a break, and slowly, mindfully makes its way forward. When it gets to the end, the tortoise wins the race. And even if the rabbit is there first, the rabbit is discontent. The rabbit spent so much time racing to the end that it missed all the opportunities for discovery, for enlightenment, for friendship, for experiences. It had one single focus, and that was to get to the finish line. Well, the finish line is there for all of us. At some time, we will depart this physical plane. What matters is your experiences while you are alive, your experiences with engaging in the world around you, in enhancing your relationships, in developing your gifts, your skills, your intuition, and becoming a healthy parent for the children coming in. They are coming in more and more sensitive. So we are in what is known as the gateway of abundance this week. This is the number 55 if you're using your human design or you're going through the gene keys. It is the shadow of the victim. So really knowing, where do we play the victim? And it's not an actual victim, because that does exist. This is a victim of our own circumstance. We choose to keep ourselves in things that we know are not good for us. We tell ourselves we cannot do what the desires, the passion is asking us to do. We shut ourselves down out of fear, right? Those are victimizations, energetic victimizations. The gift in here is all about freedom, you learning to set yourself free. And in setting yourself free, you become a representation to others that they too can set themselves free. In the teachings of the Gene Keys, they use the analogy of the dragonfly. And the story of the dragonfly, when you look this up, this is scientific. We can blend science and mysticism all together because it's symbolic. Everything is so symbolic. The dragonfly exists as a nymph in the water. It is born into the water. It is an incredible swimmer. At some point in its journey, it naturally starts to shed away some of its layers, and it naturally starts to develop the beginning of wings. And then at some point, it has a leap of faith and it literally crawls out of the water, finds its way onto a reed or some low branch that is its access point into another realm, allows itself to immerse into the element of air, dries itself off. Notice that in the process, it has developed wings that are now expanded into a new form. And again, when it has another leap of faith, it becomes airborne. It is such a representation for us how we are moving as a species from our emotional bodies, being trapped under the influence of emotion, and learning to set ourselves free into a higher consciousness, a higher state of being. So Pisces season is not easy. It is not designed to be easy. It is the 12th house. So if you look at the 12 houses, you've had a journey through all the other houses. You're now getting to the 12th house. It's like going through your series of final exams to see if you are ready to move to the next level, or if you need more practice to go around the cycle again. And it's not a judgment. Love gives us exactly what we need so that we can thrive. We're not here to survive. We're here to thrive. You're here to create your heaven here on earth. So if you can approach this time knowing that you have a lot of things coming up for you within the subconscious, unconscious of your own body, that you have things coming up for you to process because you are being recognized that you are ready to face it. You're ready to transmute it. And you remind yourself, ooh, I'm going through a series of initiations right now. I'm going through a series of tests. I'm being given the grace within the awareness of myself to deal with things that I may not have been able to see at a different point of life. I might be getting a new perspective. I may be having greater awareness. And this is your opportunity to move through it at the pace that is correct for you, not for what the mainstream says you are to do, not for what buying into the year of the horse is projected to you, but getting to know yourself and meeting the horse as your truth. If you want some help with that, reach out. I have allowed myself to go deep into my own design. I have offered a service out to a few others. There is opportunities to order your combination birth chart, human design chart, astrological chart, looking at you as an element to then move through Pisces season and these approaching energies. So if you're needing some help with that, send me a comment, send me an email. My stuff will be down below. We have a self-guided course within the More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness. There's all the teachings in there to support you through each one of the gateways through Pisces season, leading us then into the spring equinox. So there's tools available. There's patterns we can follow. There's the awareness of what is the shadow, what is the gift, what are we here to really transform within ourselves. And the more you get to know you get to know your own design, you might be recognizing your own fears that are surfacing. And why do we have fears? Well, so we can build faith. So you can have faith in yourself, in your ability to make decisions, in your ability to stand in the foundation of your truth, your values, to use your intellect, your problem solving, your innovation, your creativity, to know that what is correct for you may not be correct for another, and that is okay. So if the world is trying to get us all to conform to one way, is that correct for you? I know everything in my body goes, hell no. I am here to live my path, my truth, my way. And being authentic is the most beautiful journey that you can embark on. We all have a journey that way. Together, we are like the wildflowers of the earth. We are magnificent and we are so perfectly imperfect. So I send you all so much love. Ride through this emotional energy with grace, with kindness, with understanding. And I look forward to touching base with you next week when we move into the gateway of family and we really look at moving into a greater equality within the family structures, whether that is within your home, your community, or the global family. So addressing imbalances and bringing yourself into a greater participant as a unit, not just an individual. Namaste. The light in me sees the light in you. Take care.